Oh yeah, we're competitive, don't worry about that. You'd only got to see the state of origin at our level. There's certainly a national thing to it as well, as far as beating Mother England, and beating anyone for that matter. Even when we're the so-called Anzacs, where we've fought with New Zealand, when we play against them, it's definitely, there's plenty of competitiveness there. So, no, it's just the way we are, I think. Yeah. We've got to remember the Kiwis are world champions and have been so for 5 years. England have beaten the Kiwis here both times in the Four Nations in 09 and 11 to play us in the final. Anything could happen in this sort of competition later on in the year. So there's no doubt. You know, I believe it'll be the strongest World Cup in rugby league. So I think we're going to see some very, very good football here in England. Yeah, we've constantly been in touch with the people that we made contact with to make sure that everything's in place. You know, from the point of view of the logistics of training venues, hotels, and so on. Just face to face with people, so that your email back. This is what we want to do, and we also took photos of everything, so we know exactly what the venue looked like, albeit that we're here in the winter time and things looked a little different to probably what they do now. And we're going to have a look at a couple of things here in Manchester while I'm here. Look, we're looking forward to playing at Cardiff, a brilliant stadium. We were down there, had a good look at it. I'm hoping the opening game is a really good game of football. No, for me it's a selection trial, and I can be objective, and I am objective. I really haven't got anything really from the point of view of who should win it. All I'm worried about is they get through without any injuries, and that by that I mean no long-term injury that takes them out of the season. It's a trial for us, but it's basically 3 test matches at the same time, so it's a very, very good series of trials. Some of the younger ones who have been selected to play, that's a bonus for us as well, because we're really looking at what they can do at that level to add to our squad. Australian squad is an ageing squad. A lot of the superstar players are 30 or thereabouts and may not make the next World Cup in 4 years' time. So there has to be a little bit of a succession plan there as well. So that's in the back of our minds. But at the moment, it's about winning this one, not worrying about who's going to be at the next one. From state of origin purposes, though, if you can handle that level, so the younger players who have been picked by New South Wales and Queensland playing at that level, if they can handle that, that gives them it's a good indicator to us that they could play test match footy. Yes, well we had a list of 40 that we, selectors and I, came up with at the start of the year, which was the requirement of the World Club Committee, but although they're unavailable for publication, we are concentrating on that 40, as would be England and New Zealand as well. But above that, there's probably a good another dozen young players that, and a couple of veterans who have really played quite well. So the state of origin, followed by the rest of the competition, and then the next series is obviously the semi-final series, grand final, will determine people's form, fitness obviously, and we'll select from that. There's always someone comes out of a grand final for a tour. There's a handful there that really have surprised this year and stepped up that next level. And surprisingly, they're playing a bit of state of origin. So it doesn't take much to guess who they are, those younger ones, but they're showing good form at club level and, of course, for their state. There's pressure on Australia for each test. Yeah, to pick and stick is a policy that has long been in the Australian football team by previous coaches to me as well. If you do the job, then we tend to stand by you, even if your form at the time when you for the next test isn't quite where it needs to be. But in saying that, it's got to be just off the pace. You can't afford to be flat, playing poorly, and be expected to be picked in Australia. So there is a fair amount of pressure. That side, obviously, that 17 or 18 players we use there would be that were involved with me there would be definitely an indicator. Still, state of origin and rest of the season, there's still plenty of room to decide, where to make some tough decisions as to who might make that 24. Oh look, there's a basic squad that's been in my group for 5 years. This is my 5th year as national coach. So if you look through the sides, you'd see a trend. We have got 40 players in the back of our mind, which is the required number that the English Rugby League wanted to know. But I'm concentrating on those 40 players that the selectors and myself sat down with earlier in the year and discussed. Oh, they're all doing very well. You've only got to pick up a paper almost any day to hear something about them, Sonny Williams or the Burgess brothers and so on. The New Zealanders are definitely going to be a team that really, they'll be worrying Steve and they're worrying me obviously too, as well as worried about England. They're a big bunch of guys who on their day are really just a handful, a real dynamite handful, and they've just got that ability to win a game when when you don't expect it. You know, when things stick for them, they're really a handful and as a national group, it's a big strong side with very clever halves. England played well, whereas the Exiles have performed better in the last couple of years, so that's an indicator. But I think Steve would be looking at just experimenting, and obviously winning it was important, and they did. That keeps a strong, belief in yourself as a group. Steve would love to have. He's over there at the moment, in Australia, coming back as we speak. But he would love to have a state of origin, standard of preparation, as would the Kiwis. But at the end of the day, that particular performance was a good performance. Yeah, the Exiles, I'm talking about. I'm a lover of the game as a sport. It's been very good to me. So I'd love to see a strong World Cup from the point of view of everybody in the game here and around the world seeing a really class act competition that promotes our sport in front of what will be millions of people. Competition points for me, the coach, that's all I'm after. It's only game one and there's a lot of footy to be played after it, but I'm looking forward to the competition, and in winning the game obviously looks after the other thing that is for Australia, and I'm sure Stephen said the same thing about England, but our job is to win the games on a lead through to the big one at the end of this competition. So that's my main aim at the moment. Yeah.